Licensed producers. It's a headache and it's trying to make sense of things when especially you have no idea. So when I started my prescriptions, I started using cannabis for the very first time. I didn't smoke weed before. I was not a stoner. I have zero knowledge about cannabis products or anything else like that. So when I first started out, I had no clue what I was doing. And really the only information I had about cannabis was what I had through the stock markets, because I invested in the stock markets and invested in um, licensed producers like Tweed and things like that. So for me, I had no clue. So I'm making this video. If you have just gotten a prescription or are thinking about it, and the things you need to think about before you get the prescriptions. It's taken me like 3 years almost to try and figure out, 2 years, 3 years, I don't even know how long it's been now, to try and actually figure out what I need for my body and who can give it to me regularly, that I can get it on a an as needed basis and have something that I can actually rely on and have it be a part of my day to day and make it part of my healing and being able to do the things that I can now do because I don't have a whole bunch of medications, or I'm not in the hospital constantly or bedridden constantly. These are all things that I've had to learn over time that work for me. So I'm just sharing this information. Hopefully it helps you. I don't know if it will, but that's what I've got so far. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. It is just not straightforward. It never is. So before I get started, I would like to say, hit the subscribe button down below. Yeah, that's right now. Click it before I start. So I have 3 providers, and I'm going to firstly go through what each of them offers, and then I'm going to kind of tell you my story about how I ended up with 3 different LPs. So the first one is Spectrum Therapeutics. That is the medical brand for Tweed. So Spectrum Therapeutics currently has, of course, dried. They have 510 thread cartridges for vaping, as well as pod vapes. They have oils, which are the oils that you drop on your tongue, or they also have a spray that you can spray. They also have the soft gel caps that you can just take like a pill, and they have chocolates too that you can eat. Emblem is another one of my providers. Emblem has the sublinguals. They just came out with this, and it's super cool. So I don't know if you remember, but about the Listerine strips they used to have, where you just put them on your tongue and they melt. So that's what a sublingual strip is, and it's supposed to get into your system a lot quicker than through your digestive tract. So that's kind of neat. That's a new one. They have dried, they have oils, which is of course the spray, the oil drops, and the pills, I believe, as well, or they did. I don't know if they still carry them. And then they also have the 510 thread vape cartridges. And Aphria is my other LP, and they have dried, they have oils, which are the sprays, the drops, they have soft gel capsules, and they have the vapes, which are the 510 thread cartridge vapes, and they have the pod vape packs as well. So those are the different types of things that each of them have. Now, also, Tweed has a bunch of different brands. So Spectrum, you can buy, you don't have to stick with like Spectrum products, the colors that they use. They also have other products. So their vapes aren't actually a specific Spectrum vape. They are the Tweed cartridges that you can get at Choom or the Tweed store. So they have like the Baker Street, they have Houndstooth. Those you can get on your prescription, but you can also get them over the counter as well. So the vapes that are on a Tweed prescription or a Spectrum prescription are the same that you could get over the counter. And Aphria has similar things. They have vape cartridges that are only specifically through the Aphria prescription, which is like the Churchill and the Aspen. Those are dried that they've turned into vapes on their prescription availabilities. But they also have rec brands like Riff and Good Supply and Soleil, which you can also get on your prescription. So the Good Supply and the Soleil are ones that I've used a lot in the past. You can get them just at any store, or not at any store, but cannabis store. So like a Spectrum, or oh my goodness, you can get them at any cannabis retailer. So Choom carries Good Supply and Soleil products. So those are the Balance cartridges. They have a Gather. Good Supply has Pineapple Express, ones like that you could get over the counter at a cannabis retailer. You can also get on your LP as well. So that's kind of nifty and neat. So for me personally, Aphria has the largest range of different products to use on my prescription. Tweed has a smaller amount, but they have a lot of different types of products that they've come out with. And Emblem is they have a small number of products, but they don't have any of their rec brands on it. It's just specifically prescription stuff, but they are so consistent, which is what I need. So this is the story of my LP adventure. I started out with Tweed because I had no idea what I was getting into. I knew nothing about cannabis other than what I had learned through the stock market and investing in Tweed stocks. So I went with the Tweed brand because that was the name I knew. As it started out, it was good. Like, they had the products, but they ran out as soon as, like, they were the first ones and they weren't able to keep up. So I ended up having to split my prescription. So I split half of it with Tweed, half of it with Aphria. And splitting a prescription means your prescription allotment is a certain number of grams a month. Now, what you do with that amount of grams, you can split it and choose to do like 15 with one and 10 with another if it works for you. So I ended up splitting it with Tweed and with Aphria. Aphria had a lot more products on the market at the time. So they had the oils and they were the first ones to come up with vapes. So I was really, really excited with them and had been really consistent and started using a lot of their products. And then I wasn't able to get the stuff I needed because it came on the regular market. So when the licensed providers having the rec brands out and it became legal in Canada, they ended up having they didn't have a good way to keep up with demand at the time. So I ended up having to split it again and I went with Emblem. So this is now where I'm at. I have 3 different LP providers on my prescription because Emblem is the most consistent. They don't have fancy products. They don't have the ones that the other guys do that taste good and stuff like that, but they have them consistently, which is why I use the Emblem products, is because they're there. They don't run out like the other guys. They're not out of stock and things like that. Although the only issue with that is if my LP is out of stock, I can't run to my Choom or my local toke store and get another and get one to fill in the gaps until my LPs get it back in stock. Whereas what I can do that with Aphria or Tweed because their similar products are on the market, which is kind of cool. Now, Emblem does have rec products through a different name as well. I haven't used them personally, so I can't speak to it, so I can't say that. Now, they do have rec brands, so I can't say that they don't, but they don't have the rec brands available on their prescription, which is the difference between them. But that's my story, and that's why I have 3 different prescriptions, because they didn't have them when I needed it. And so I ended up having to split it, and now I have the ability to pick and choose. If one company runs out of high THC indica, I can go to another company and get a high THC indica that works for me. And they're all different and they all work differently with your body. Everyone is different. So what works for me may not work for you, it may work for you. Who knows, they could run out tomorrow and I could have to get another licensed provider and split my prescription again. It's everything is moving and it's never just stays still. So it's kind of hard to go with. That's where I am with my prescriptions, and that's why I have a split prescription, because you can get different things on different stuff. Again, if you like this video, please click subscribe, hit the like button, and comment. Let me know if you've used this, any of the products, if you have a cannabis prescription, if you've struggled with trying to get stuff in the past, and what you've done to fill in the gaps in the meantime. I'd love to know.